True stories from a forgotten time, told in whispers just before sleep. Each tale is drawn from real texts, letters, and lore, passed down through the centuries, and now passed to you. Let your eyes grow heavy, the candles flicker low, and listen closely as the realm begins to whisper. The Skeletons of Wharram Percy. The mutilated dead of a lost medieval village. Part 1. The Lost Village. High on a quiet hillside in North Yorkshire, a ghost lingers, where a village once stood. Now, only the wind moves, stirring the grass. Crows cry in the distance. But once, this place was alive. Laughter, harvest, love, and something darker. Its name was Wharram Percy, a name lost to time, until the earth began to give up its dead. In the 1950s, archaeologists arrived, expecting ruins. They found far more. Near the old churchyard, among crumbling stone homes, they uncovered dozens of skeletons, hastily buried. And something was wrong. The bones weren't laid to rest. They were broken, burned, beheaded. Some skulls were missing, others carved with knife marks, made after death. Limbs hacked, rib cages split, bones scorched by fire. These weren't victims of war or plague. They were villagers, and they were mutilated, as if feared. Part 2. Medieval Fear of the Dead. To understand, we must step into the medieval mind, a world ruled by faith and fear, not logic. The line between life and death was thin, and sometimes it didn't hold. As bodies. They called them revenants, the restless dead, flesh and bone, climbing from the grave. Not legend, not metaphor, threat. Some walked, some spoke, some strangled the livestock, or whispered death into sleeping ears. And to stop them, villagers acted. In the 12th century, a chronicler named William of Newburgh told these tales without irony. A man returned from the grave, knocking on doors at night. Whoever answered died soon after. Another tale from De Nugis Curialium spoke of a woman who rose nightly to haunt her husband. A priest dug up her body and burned it to make it stop. These weren't fables. They were warnings. And in Wharram Percy, someone listened. Part 3. The Mutilated Bones. Medieval Fear of the Dead. Modern forensics examined the skeletons, and they confirmed what the villagers likely believed. These bodies were mutilated deliberately after death. Clean knife cuts to the spine to remove the head. Slash marks on the thigh bones to keep the dead from walking. Scorching on ribs. Fire applied post-mortem. Not one or two. Dozens. No records explain it. No names remain. But the message is clear. They feared what these corpses might become. Part 4. The Ritual of Fear. This wasn't panic. It was ritual. It followed a grim logic. Across medieval Europe, the pattern repeats. Heads buried separately, bodies pinned with stones, hearts cut out or boiled, graves placed at crossroads, always with one purpose: to keep the dead from rising. Some revenants were blamed on sin, some on improper burial, some on a curse. Maybe those buried here were hated in life, criminals, outcasts, the strange, or maybe just the unlucky. Part 5. A Village in Decline. By the 1300s, Wharram Percy was already unraveling. Plague, famine, loss. The manor changed hands. The crops failed. The land was cleared for sheep, more profitable than people. One by one, homes were emptied. The church fell silent. The bells stopped ringing. But before it was truly abandoned, someone buried these bodies. Not in the churchyard, not with blessing, just beyond the edge. Forgotten, feared, unspoken. We don't know their names, but the bones say enough. They were not trusted. Part 6. The Undead in Christian England. You might wonder, how could Christian villagers believe in revenants? Wasn't resurrection reserved for saints? Didn't the grave bring peace? Not always. Medieval faith was messy. Christianity blended with older fears. Ghosts, witches, creatures that walked at night. The church promised heaven, but villagers knew some things still walked the earth. Things that moaned in the fields, that scratched at doors, that left footprints no one wanted to follow. Sometimes priests were called to bless the grave or open the coffin, to remove the heart. They prayed to saints, but they sharpened their knives just in case. Part 7. A Silence in the Soil. Today, Wharram Percy is a ruin. Stone outlines, a leaning church tower. a name on a fading signpost. But beneath the soil, they remain. The mutilated dead, the feared, heads turned, bones burned, buried far from the others, but not far enough. What does it say? If your village feared what you'd become after death. Sleep now, and if you hear footsteps in the dark, remember, they bury them far from the others, but perhaps not far enough. Rest easy, traveler. The soil is still, the bones don't speak tonight. But should the earth begin to stir again, you'll be the first to know. If you enjoyed tonight's tale, leave a light in the dark, a like, a comment, or a quiet subscribe. It helps keep the realm whispering and ensures you'll hear the next story when it stirs from the soil. Until then, rest well and don't look back.